So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Robert. If this is your first time tuning in. So today what we're going to talk about is some different dry bags, kind of different price points. We have some expensive end, we have some higher end dry bags, and then we have some lower end dry bags. I kind of talk about some of the differences, where I picked them up from, and just kind of some of the qualities and characteristics of the dry bags at different price points. So I have 3 different types at 3 different price points here that I'm going to quickly talk about. I'll leave everything I'm talking about in the description, or if I can't find exact same ones on Amazon, I will leave them very similar to what I am talking about today, so that way you guys can do your own research, read about it, look at pictures, etc. So we're going to go ahead and start with the most expensive dry bags. So I picked up a lot of these at Sierra. So Sierra is like a discount store, but they usually have name brand clothing, name brand items that are, that have good brand recognition that a lot of people know. So this one is a Sea to Summit. So if you go to like a Cabela's, a Bass Pro, these things are very, very expensive. Which, I mean, those stores are usually typically expensive, but these are very expensive. I picked this one up for $25 plus tax, which is still expensive for a dry bag, right? So this is a 35-liter dry bag. Now it feels, I mean, right out of the bag, I mean, it feels really, really good. It does have a little loop here. You can already tell it's a better quality than some of the cheaper ones that I've had in the past as well. But again, this is Sea to Summit 35-liter. This is called the Big River. And again, you can already tell the quality on this one is pretty good. The stitching all looks really good. Sometimes when you get some cheaper dry bags, the stitching seems to be a little off, ever so slightly. I guess the quality assurance is where they tend to skip out on. But we'll kind of quickly read some of the specs on this thing. So 4 Hyphlon lash loops for secure attachment or staking, TPU laminated fabric with 10,000 millimeter watershed or waterhead, Sea to Summit replaceable buckles with stainless steel pins, waterproof Hyphlon, I'm not even sure I'm saying that right, Hyphlon roll top, closure does not wick moisture. So it's made out of 420D waterproof fabric. And where is this thing manufactured in? I'm just curious. Made in Vietnam. So these things are made in Vietnam. But yeah, these things are 8.4 ounces or 239 grams. And for those of you guys who are very particular about the weight, that's how this one comes out to. But again, it feels really good. The quality feels great. Again, it feels like it's well built, like it should be for the price point. I don't see any kind of defects on it. Again, this is a discount store that I did pick it up at, but I mean, there's no issues with it. It looks, like I said, brand new. Stitching looks perfect. Material feels great. And it always has these extra additional little loops and things like that. Yeah, overall, really solid dry bag. Okay, moving on to a less expensive one, which this one, what is the brand on this one? This is a Madman brand. So I've never heard of Madman for dry bags, but this one feels like a vinyl type of dry bag. Now this is kind of like a mid-ranged pack. I ended up paying $13 for this one, and this is a 10-liter. So this one was more expensive, but it was a 35-liter. This is a 10-liter. Now this one does feel like it's actually better built than this one, probably because it's like a denser, more tougher material. Now the only thing that, that kind of gets it is this here. I don't know if you guys can see it, just a bunch, I don't think it's going to affect the integrity of it itself. It just kind of doesn't look nice. If you're trying to get like a super high-end dry bag, or trying to create one as a product manufacturer, these little frayed edges. I don't think the integrity of this thing is actually compromised. I think it's just like the look of it, cosmetic issues or cosmetic look of it. But I don't think it's going to affect the functionality of the dry bag. But other than that, I mean, if you don't look at it, it looks pretty nice. It looks pretty sturdy, pretty good build, pretty good quality. Now it does have a loop here to attach as well, which is something you're going to find on a lot more like mid-range to higher end dry bags. They usually have little attachments so you can add onto things, attach them to things, add slings, etc. Now the fold tops themselves, this one's again not as sharp, I guess is the best way to put it, as this one. This one just feels better in the hand. Not really sure how to explain it. It just feels more like it'll roll cleaner. This one has like a little oval metal thing in the top. These are more like strips. These feel better. I don't know how, these feel like they're gonna close better versus these. But as far as the buckles themselves compared to like the higher end ones, they're pretty similar, honestly. The materials feel pretty similar, the plastics feel pretty similar. Now, where we do see more issues or sloppiness, I want to say issues, just sloppiness, is again on some of these areas here. You know, there's some frayed edges here, things like that. You can see a bunch of these little hair looking things, and again where the sewing's at there. But I mean, that's just kind of nitpicking things. It's not going to affect the integrity of the bag itself, but you didn't see none of that on the higher end bag versus this kind of mid-range bag. You don't see none of that on those. But again, the integrity of it feels good. The actual material itself of the main dry bag feels better quality than this, if I'm being honest. If you prefer like a latex or like a rubbery material, these feel better than these. But again, it depends on what you're going to be using it for and your use case. But overall, it's not a bad bag. It just might not look the cleanest, but as far as like the frayed edges and things like that. But overall, I mean, it's a really good bag, especially for the price point. Now we're getting into the cheaper, less expensive option for dry bags. So I have a same 10 liter, same size as that one. And I paid, I think, $5 for this whole set, maybe $8 for the whole set, which is less than I paid for just one 10 liter bag of this material or this company. So we're just gonna go ahead and take them all out here. So we're gonna start with this one, which is probably the 10 liter. Yeah, 10 liter bag. So you can definitely tell these things are way cheaper. The best way I can kind of compare this to is the difference, like in far as like, how can I give people like a comparison with actually filling the material, right? So if you've ever had different tarps, you've had like heavy duty, medium duty, and light duty tarps. That's kind of the scale of difference between these three types of bags. You know, I would even put this one maybe at the heavy duty. This will be like a medium duty, and these are the light duty. As far as the material for the main part of the bag, this one feels like a heavy duty, this one feels like a medium duty, these feel like a light duty. These, honestly, I feel like if I do this, I will likely rip them. So take that for what it is. But for the price point, if you're only going to be using these things for maybe one camping trip or something, that's probably where these fit in, is for like disposable bags that you're not going to be using for a long time, but you're going to use them for a little bit, and you just kind of need them to get you through something. That's what these feel like. We'll go ahead and open up these others as well. Now, I just bought these just for little miscellaneous things that I might need a little bag for. That's pretty much what I bought them for. These aren't snappy. These little roll tops, they're not going to be super snug. If that's what you're looking for, this isn't it for sure. But if you just need something to kind of keep dry, it's probably going to work. But I wouldn't expect these to last long term for sure. And these are the smaller bag, maybe for like a phone or something like that. But again, these are very different material compared to any of these other two that are significantly more expensive than those. Now, again, I did pick these up at Walmart, but I will put all these down below in the description for anyone who's interested, wants to read the specs on these. Now, I'd personally prefer just going, if I'm going to be investing some money into these things, I just pick up one of these, or I'd pick up one of those. If you don't care about the looks of it or the perfection of it, and you just care that it functions the way it should, then yeah, you can go with these. These are a little bit cheaper, and they do feel like solid, durable material. Now, if you want something that's just all around just good, it's a good quality, it looks clean, it looks nice, it just looks like a higher end product, then I would go to with the C to Summit. If you just need something, you're not really a camper, you're just going out there for one day, maybe a friend invited you last minute, you just need something to kind of keep your stuff dry, these will probably do it. If you're not that serious about it, these will probably get you by. And again, this thing's pretty comparable with this one as far as the quality of the material itself, but again, it's just not very clean. That's where you find that it's just not a very clean product when you get to these higher end ones. But the material themselves are pretty durable if that's something that you're looking at, right? So that's gonna be my quick review between the differences between those. So just to kind of recap, the best way I can kind of explain it is looking at tarps. You have your heavy duty tarps, your medium duty tarps, and your light duty tarps. And that's kind of the difference between the three dry bags as far as materials used, is there is a significant difference between the materials on different price ranges. But again, they all have a place, they all have a purpose, and they're all intended for different customers, right? You have your customers that are serious about camping, they want a little bit more nicer end, higher end things. You have people who are, do it a little bit more often than the average person. And then you have the average person who's just gonna go out there once in a blue moon, and that's where the cheaper, less expensive options kind of come in. But without further ado, be careful, be good, take care, God bless. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.